What's going on, folks? It is No Cap Space. Playoff-a-thon Postgames is the name that I've decided on behalf of Shawnee, Tyler Greer, and the entire No Cap Space crew. It's Andrew
we just
Hobner.
erased playoff-a-thon?
Yeah, we playoff-a-thon. I like playoff-a-thon postgame. I think that is the way to do it. I came in late. You guys have been holding it down for the last week, but this is what you get when we start getting later into the year. Things get increasingly unhinged, and tonight, Shawnee, I think the games got pretty unhinged. The Las Vegas Aces winning Game 3 on the road in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, beating the Indiana Fever, while the Phoenix Mercury stunned the Minnesota Lynx, in PHX Arena, which I don't know if stun is the right word, but it feels somewhat stunning to me. Which of the two games do you want to start with as we roll into our post games?
Well, first we'll start with a comment. Thank you, Jonathan, for the $2. The thought of the Mercury-Aces. Hey, beating Alyssa Thomas in another finals works for me. We'll take care of it. But we can start with what just ended, because that ending, first off, this is a very good series. Really, really, really hoping that Fee is okay. It doesn't look great because, she twists the ankle. Alyssa Thomas is known for fouling. Like, she gets the hard-nosed defender, the gritty, the enforcer, the physical, blah, blah, blah. But and she gets away with it. So, I mean, it was an uncalled foul, but it was also kind of a freak accident play where their legs get tangled up. And you can say, their legs get tangled up because she's fouling. She's coming across the body. So in the process of the legs getting tangled up, Fee twists her ankle something nasty. Well, not twisted, but that ankle bent. Ooh, it hit an angle, and I was like, goodness gracious. Shout out to Cheryl Reeve, bro, because she started guarding the inbound play.
Cheryl Reeve? Dog. Is it too late to alter a DPOY award vote? Because Cheryl Reeve, man. I mean, who's guarding a baseline like her? Holy shit.
She got in there. She was getting big. And I was like, oh, she's nose to nose with the ref. It was like Kobe guarding Matt Barnes. Like, she didn't flinch. And then she gets tossed. So, I mean, and that had to happen. And then she won't get off the court because her coaching staff then has to, physically restrain her, all of them.
Pull her off, yep.
And she's still going. And I'm kind of like, what would you do if you weren't being held back? That's always kind of my question. Sometimes I'm like, let them go. I want to see. Are you really? I bet you.
Are you about that action?
Yeah.
Are you Carmelo Anthony or are you Isaiah Stewart?
Let him go and let's see.
Are you ready to run?
Yeah. Because if you're doing all of that, I'm assuming she's gonna go over there and put her in a headlock. I would be down for that. Cheryl Reeve putting a ref in a headlock would absolutely make my night. And
there's one thing about this matchup in particular that feels consequential, right? It feels like one of those games, especially for Alyssa Thomas. It feels like one of those games where if this series ends with Phoenix winning and going to the finals, it feels like one of those Alyssa Thomas pantheon kind of games that when you think about her career, it's like this is one of those 5 or 10 as long as Phoenix ends up winning this. And a part of why I think this game is going to have that historical significance is purely for the crash outs that the game provided. Cheryl's crash out that's a historic, that is if Temecula was a basketball play, it's that kind of crash out on an official. You had Satu Sabali managing to make Bridget Carlton almost want to swing. You had
she actually shoulder into and I was
I didn't blame Bridget Carlton.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
but it's just what is this German doing to these folks,
bro?
And then she's playing a dangerous game though, because when you start putting your finger in a fan's face, I sure would. Oh my God, my neck. Satu Sabali, it's on camera.
I hear that new CBA is going to be a good one too.
I show up to the meetings in the neck brace, Cappy. You got to put a clause in for me. Yeah, you darn Skippy. But then you got Fee and AT going back and forth. Fee does it like Fee. We haven't seen Fee since NECA. We haven't seen Cheryl crash out like this since NECA. So it's like both parties, they're crashing out like it's NECA 99. So this is fantastic turning back the clock. Dude, I love it.
We're getting like 2021 finals Kalia Copper levels of juice, like juxtaposed against 2024 finals Courtney Williams levels of juice in that backcourt too. Like it is amazing. And I will say this for Satu Sabally. She's a great heel. Like in the wrestling parlance of what a heel is, she is a wonderful heel because she totally wears the heel, moniker, right? And like we talk about this all the time. Like if you want to be the villain, step into your comfort and into your power as the villain, And she, for all of the things that fans are like driven crazy by when it comes to her, she totally owns the label. And I just think you need players in a pro sports league like that because on some level, this is an entertainment product too. And we love the storylines that are driven by this kind of thing, right? Like this is the type of stuff that last year in like the worst of the discourse around WNBA basketball last year, this is the type of shit that we were looking forward to. Yes. Like this is the type of stuff where we're saying, man, I cannot wait until this is what this is what the conversation is. Like we're getting back to this, like the fun stuff over the thing.
Hating.
The ethical hate, it is back. This is the ethical haters series of the year right here. I'm ready to plant the flag.
Because it also has an origin story. Because remember when Sabally was in Dallas and they played in Minnesota, she got the fans like kicked out because they apparently like laughed or they said something when she went down with the injury. Something like you're always hurt or something like that. So she said some stuff back. They get tossed. Then you still have, I know she's not playing, but Dejanay Carrington. You have the stop drinking moment, and Dejanay took offense to that. So it's just like she has the origin story. She kind of hates Minnesota.
Yep.
It's showing. She stepped it up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because we got some stats to pull up because she's producing now. So it's she had that rough game in the first series. 11 of 11 from the free throw line is fantastic.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, especially in this day and age. 5 of 11, 23 points. Because I remember that last game when they was like, oh, she's bounced back. And I was like, she got like 14. She ended with like 15. But I was like, okay. But this is one of those games, and this number only matters to me because it fits my agenda. Otherwise, I do not care about it. But no, 23 points. Like you said, Kalia Copper, 21. Back to form. Alyssa Thomas.
9 of 13 shooting. Dude, 8, bro. Yo, we got to have the AT conversation, man, because this is the best playoffs of her career. Have you seen at any point in the last decade of AT's career a playoff series in which she was this dangerous as a scorer in addition to being a solid rebounder and distributor? Like this feels like the best she's ever played in the playoffs.
They got to win the series because like if she loses it, like if she gets walked down, then it's like, So I need, like, we've seen her make the finals. So that's why I'm like, win.
Like, we're in improvement mode now?
Yeah. Like, you've always been the bridesmaid. So now I need you. You've moved to maid of honor. Now I need to see you, like, actually be the bride. The stats don't show it, but we get in playoff Sammy Whitcomb. Hey, we get some Sammy Whitcomb plays. I'm like, who's she feeling like? That and one?
Bro, okay. She dove deep into the Australian spirit and summoned the power and petty of Liz Cambage on this.
Hold on. Because when you summon that spirit,
you don't know what voodoo comes with it. But here's the thing, bro. Sammy Whitcomb on the break, and like this is the thing where I do think we undervalue Alyssa Thomas, because like Derek Jeter turnaround shortstop throwing a dime to Sammy Whitcomb in transition. We do have to point out that not everybody in the WNBA can do that, you know? And it gets easy to overlook that at times, but like that was a crazy feat, first and foremost. But then Sammy Whitcomb goes up, gets fouled on the and one, and all of a sudden, like you just see that all the way through, and you're like, oh.
Bro, I got turned up, and I have no affiliation whatsoever to Sammy Whitcomb. Like, the last thing I said about Sammy Whitcomb was, who voted for her for 6 players? Like, who gave her that vote? Mm-hmm. And then she was like, all right, bet. And I was like, I'm with you. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean
I wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah. I wasn't familiar with your game. But
I will say, from a schematic perspective in this, like, what's really interesting to me is the fact that even with Kliandikova playing really solid minutes tonight late, Phoenix still doesn't have any desire to go and counter with a big in Kalani Brown. And what's wild about it is they don't need to. Like, putting Dewana Bonner on Kliandikova, and it works. You somehow match size for size when you, by the numbers, are undersized already. I can't believe it is working this effectively. And I think that it is interesting. Like, I feel like we're going to find out some stuff later on, because like Alana Smith doesn't look 100%. Fee, I don't know if it's up here or if there's something else physical going on before the injury. And then, obviously we have what we have now. But it feels like Phoenix is not worried at all about the height disparity. Tibbetts is kind of out-coaching Cheryl a little bit. Like, Cheryl is still a god on challenges and knows exactly when to employ him and how. But I'm actually pretty impressed with how your man Riblets has coached this offense and defense. Like,
Riblets got him fired up. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Like, did we really think this was possible last year when the Mercury are giving up like 110 a game reliably? Like, this is a remarkable defensive turnaround.
And it's gonna get even more wicked. Just a reminder: talk to us, we talk back. Super chats are on. Have your comments up on here. Join the conversation. Looking at the links, like, you got not enough. Natisha Heidemann, 19 points. Fantastic. That's exactly what you want from the bench. 8 from Masha. Bruh, she hit this. She put the ball on the ground and took it to the cup. I said, I was not familiar with your game.
In a crunch time possession, too.
Hello?
Like, it was wild.
I was like, if you have that in the bag, then yes, please share with the class. Fee, like you said, 17 is not gonna cut it. 17, 6, and 3, no.
Yeah.
With 4 turnovers and 5 fouls, that's just not it, sister. We love it, but it's just not it. Just a quick aside, like, Bleacher Report, you're going to hell. I don't know who was responsible for that little W segment. I did not like how it went. Like, they made
the like Game of Zones type thing.
Yeah, it was like fine, but it's like, I get the fever part. But it's like, why are you making Asia a dark-skinned woman being bullied by like a light-skinned mean girl when she won the... Yeah, it was weird. I didn't like it. I feel like it put more heat on Fee. You're going to hell. Shout out to Chris. Appreciate the $5. Can we get ready? Are we ready for can Fee get it done conversation as a first option?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Like, okay. I wrote about this in my preview today on nocapspacewbb.com. If you're not a ball knower, might as well sign up on Substack, where all of our content is. But if you don't, you'll be able to hear it here too. I wrote in my column to start today's preview that I didn't want to get into a place with Napheesa Collier where it's like, I'm just going to overlook the 20-8 that you reliably give us a game, right? Because on some level, it's that conversation about greatness fatigue and like, how do we assess that? However, at some point, there is a difference between superstar level and all-time great level. And to me, at least, what I believe separates those two classes of player is the all-time great player has the intangible quality to know how to and when to take over a game on their own. And I think that we see that with Asia right now. And we've seen it a lot over the last three seasons. Not tonight, but I think there have absolutely been games and specific possessions too. Like there was a possession that she had in the opening series against Seattle, for instance, where it's a pivotal possession. You can kind of tell if you believe momentum. I know some people don't, but I do. Like those important possessions when you're on the road, and Asia just immediately went up the floor, got on the block, demanded the ball, went up, got it, and won. Like those are the types of like, get out of my way, I'm going to get us going type of plays and possessions that I believe all-time greats make at a higher clip than superstars.
Like there has to be that inevitability.
Correct.
Like you can feel them coming, and then when it happens, it's like, yep. And it's like to a point where it overwhelms the other team.
Yes.
So I think to your point, Fee has had some moments, but we need consistency in those moments. My question is kind of, is this team good enough to be considered what she needs? Because, like, yes, they make the playoff or make the finals, but it's like you got stud buds, you got Alana Smith, you got Bridget Carlton, you have people that are like playing out of their mind, and Cheryl is getting the absolute most out of them. But you have a finals MVP, you have Satu, had lottery picks. Like you have a big three in Phoenix, and you have Fee and like makeshift scrap pieces from everybody else's team. So it's like Fee and the Valkyries. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially
this
like
is valid. I think this kind of feels like the collegiate argument that we had this year in the NCAA championship game, right? Like UConn and South Carolina. South Carolina, to me, this past year was a team that was better as a sum than an individual, right? And it feels like on some level, Minnesota kind of is that team where even though you feel like Fee has that ability to unlock that next level, that's just not how the team is structured and designed schematically. Like it's more of an everyone eats kind of offense. And when you look at the other, on the other side, Phoenix and UConn kind of have this similarity where like, yeah, their bench is good and their team is good, but they have Paige and Sarah Strong. In this case, you have A.T. Satu and Kalia Copper. I think the top end talent in Phoenix is just a little bit better. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Let's open that up. Thank you, Jonathan, for the $2. Fee feels like LeBron Cavs 1.0 support sometimes. See,
I wouldn't say they're that bad because like LeBron literally dragged that team. That's more like Asia this year.
Yeah.
Or
no,
Asia last year.
Asia last year. Yeah. What I think this Lynx team, if I had to find an NBA analog for them, I think it would be the 2015 Cavs, where like you are running up against, a Warriors team that isn't analogous to this Phoenix team. I want to be clear, but I think that 2015 Cavs team had LeBron and then had, some all NBA-ish caliber players that were in that roster and in those lineups, but ultimately the top end talent on the other side was just better and more. And I think that's what's happening in this series right now is I think we got AT. Like, I think this is the best AT we've gotten, man. Like, I really do. And, when you look back at AT over the course of the years, and I think it is important to note for people that AT as a distributor, that didn't start until about 4 years ago. We wrote it in our feature, our no cap cover story on AT, that it wasn't until Jonquel Jones left the Connecticut Sun that Kurt Miller changed over the offense to make AT a almost LeBron-ish type of figure where she is the point forward and basically facilitator of the entire offense start to finish. And from that point on, her numbers jumped from like 3.5, 4 assists per game to like 8 or 9 per game. And so I think that's pretty impressive to see, like a player that is effectively playing at an MVP level. Like, even though I feel like we're not getting that out of Fee and I would like to see it a little bit more, I think AT's giving us that in a way that we have to be careful not to overlook because it's AT and people don't like her style of play. And I get it. I get that it is not the most fun or aesthetic method of playing. I get people are over the Labrams story. Like, I understand. I absolutely understand. I wrote a whole feature on it. Like, I get it. But I do think that even with those limitations in place, a lot of the other stuff she does is very worth celebrating because she's stepping up in big moments, and that's what we demand of our players. I'm guessing you're trying to go back and listen to the Cheryl post, right?
No, that was an ad. I don't know why.
Oh, because we're reading through the chat here, and I'm waiting to pull some. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Let me pull some quotes here real quick.
Okay, because I was pulling another box score, and then there was a Popeyes ad, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Apparently, Cheryl dropped 3 F-bombs in her.
It's not funny.
No. This is funny. Well, no, we'll start with something not funny, but then we'll make something else funny. According to Cheryl Reeve's presser, Napheesa Collier probably has a fracture.
Gosh,
that sucks.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
Sucks.
And this is just a hard year for her because the injury took her out of MVP contention. She comes back. She kind of just gets steamrolled in that last game by Asia. Like it felt like the moment was too big, but she was getting her stride back. Playoffs. This was the time to prove it. Okay, that happened, but I'm still her. And now you don't even really get the full opportunity. So we'll see next year because I don't like the narrative of she doesn't have enough help. I just feel like she doesn't have top tier help in the same way that some other teams have. And on top of that, she's not being an inevitable force that she needs to be in order for all of this to work. Because they're a very good team that works in harmony with one another. And when that harmony is thrown off, that's when it starts coming unraveled. So they've been really good functioning as a unit with her being, the tip of the spear. But they need another first team type player to pair with her and let her do her thing. And there's still room. There's still room for growth, but I really hate to see her season end like this. That's pretty unfair.
It just sucks because I feel like injuries have robbed us from a lot this year. I mean, even going back to the preseason and the Liberty lose Benajalaini Hamilton for the entire season before it even starts. And we can see now how massive a loss that ended up being for this team. I mean, Sandy Brondello might still have a job if Benajalaini Hamilton didn't blow her knee out.
Because it wasn't reactive. It was based on last year, and she just happened to win the. First, let me pause.
All right. Wait. Yeah, let's do this.
Just really quick.
Yeah, we have time.
I know I made the video, and I just want y'all to know, it's okay for people to be this is goofy and this don't make sense. I don't understand why everybody has to get so defensive. Their tax dollars are going towards this team just because you bought a ticket. You're not an insider. You got the same league pass we got, brothers. we see what you're seeing. Y'all wasn't in the pressers. And to say a coach getting fired in year 2, but we had to wait till year 3 because she accidentally won a championship, that doesn't make sense.
That's wild.
And especially after you only gave Walt Hawkins 2 years and then said well, we want Sandy because she a little bit more experienced, so we're gonna go ahead and slide him. Sorry, we'll get to more Liberty hate, but you're going back to Cheryl's presser. You said how many? What's the F-bomb count?
I believe it was at 3.
She cooking. She could. Hey, she might drop a "I'll see you in the lobby."
Yo, straight up. That might. Honestly, we gotta lock down all of the doors in PHX Arena. I mean, we've seen the damage that can be done. By
guard the doors.
Guard the doors, man. Put some padding on those doors.
Electrical boxes.
Because Phoenix will take that door and bring it to the championship parade. It'll happen.
Boy, if it was the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but busted doors.
Punched through doors. That's so funny. Oh my God.
But, any last comments on Phoenix, Minnesota? Because it's funny Cheryl's crash out, but like I understand her justified rage. Like your season is arguably over as of right now. So
it sucks on some level too, because a part of this is going to become about officiating, and that's the thing that always kind of casts a pall over the league, is the fact that on some level it always comes back to officiating, and like that shit sucks. I will say though,
well, we have to that point with AT, it's not just ugly ball. Sometimes it's straight up bully ball that relies on uncalled offensive fouls. Yes, like her signature fast break, shoulder, boom. Like Courtney got the brunt of it several times, and it just goes uncalled. And it's just, once you have that reputation of being tough, gritty, hard nosed, whether it be on the defensive end or in her case on the offensive end, you get away with stuff like this. I've been saying this for a couple of years, kind of, So now we're seeing it. And I think
it's hard. The one thing I will say here is, like, how do you guard a player that has that level of physical dominance, and how do you officiate them properly? Right?
You don't let her push on the fast. Like, how would you let anybody else do it?
Sure, but she also gets mauled on more than her fair share of possessions too. Like, it's
not on fast breaks.
Not on fast. I will grant you that. I will grant you. I do think the shoulder down on fast breaks is that is a cheat code call. I will agree with you on that. I do believe though that for what gets uncalled in her drives to the basket, I think there is uncalled contact on the other side. Not to the same degree, not a 50-50. I will say this, I do think she gets an advantageous whistle, but I do think that she is a hard player to officiate because of the physicality. And honestly, I like it from a stylistic perspective. I like the fact that in this league, there's still a player like this. We still have, and I hate drawing the comp the other direction, but I do think it is, as we get into the split portion of the season, we can make the comp between WNBA and NBA. We have this conversation about the homogenized nature of how NBA offenses play and operate, right? And while that isn't necessarily true from a schematic perspective, I think to a casual eye, and admittedly, I will look at that type of thin margin with a more casual eye, it all looks similar in some way, shape, or form. For me, what I love about the W so much is that we have so many different types of play styles that feel totally distinctive from one another, right? We have a motion style offense that Vegas runs, right? We have this kind of, bully ballish, if you want to call it that Phoenix does. You have, these different types of offense and different types of schemes that we see that give it a little bit of diversity in that sense. I want to make sure we get to our first other super chat, KGB_GTS. Appreciate you. Minnesota has the chance at the number 1 pick. Technically, yes, because that was a pick that they got in a trade with Chicago. So, yeah, that is entirely possible that Minnesota could turn around and take a Lauren Betts or AZ Fudd or a player that could take them completely over the top. And so I'd be interested in seeing that possibility. And then I will say I agree to a point. I think bowling ball is also an art. But what are you looking for, Shawnee?
Apologize. We got
Are you trying to get Cheryl quotes?
No. A Cheryl moment, a Cheryl clip. It's not funny.
Oh, is she yelling at fans?
She yelled F you to a fan.
Yes, dude. Oh
I thank God it's not Indiana, because the discourse on that would actually be interesting since she's white. So I don't know.
This is so good. Like this is what the Darren Rovell quote was for. The Darren Rovell quote was not for any. It shouldn't have been for anything outside of sports. That quote was the monkey's paw that contributed to the downfall of civilization. This is what the quote should be for. This is terrible for the country, but this is tremendous content. This is terrible for the links, but this is tremendous content, bro. Oh my God. I love this. I don't care. I don't care. This type of shit does not bother me at all in sports. I don't, button your shirt and clip it. No, I want you to be passionate. I want you to want this, right? Like Cheryl wants this. AT wants this. Like this is exactly what this should be. This does not have to be business and like strictly about what the dollar figure. It doesn't have to be that way. There is pride here still, man. Like this is what we need. This is the energy this playoffs needed. I love this series. I love this series so much.
I just don't want to hear whining when some people do it and then, this is great. And not that I'm saying you do that. I'm just saying, like, if we could get to a point where, the trash talking and everything that's happening in this game is also okay in other games and then also okay in the next round. And, we're just, like, consistent because I get tired of the inconsistencies. Moving on to the next game, we have the Las Vegas, the Aces beat the Fever 84-72. In this game, Jackie Young was inevitable. We got Jackie Young MVP ball, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. This game was really, really big for Vegas because they showed that they can, survive an Asia stinker, a disaster class, if you will. An Aster class, if you would like. 6 for 20. Like 6 for 20. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. She still manages to stuff the stat sheet, but like she was like 1 of 11 for a long time. And we got to talk about Aaliyah Boston because I'm not riding with Becky. Bro, I'm sorry. It's not just missed shots. Like, Aaliyah Boston has her in hell. And Aaliyah Boston has had her in hell in this manner since her rookie season. And part of it is, like, Aaliyah Boston is getting the AT. She's getting the AT treatment to an extent. Like, she gets to play. She's now getting to play bully ball. She's always played pretty physical with Asia. And that's kind of bothered Asia because Asia's more of like, a finesse 5, like a stretch 4. Like she's cool, she's face up game, And Aaliyah's like, I'm going to go through your chest. And so now we're seeing like Asia limber in ways that I didn't even know because like, why are you like she hitting the Sierra Matrix, which is crazy. But the Aces needed to show that they can survive a stinker. And then on top of that, like in the future, like, pick up some of the load so we're not burning her out and getting to that point where we're getting these games because she's had to do so much every single game. So I think that was good for the Aces. Another thing, Nalissa Smith, 16 points, revenge game.
It's pretty remarkable. And before I get to Nalissa, shouts to KGB. The Lexi game, that Asia game, where was Jewel and you still lose. Nalissa Smith is that reason. And it is pretty incredible. And I know you're going to chuckle at this because sometimes we laugh about this, like, off screen is like this idea that when you go to Las Vegas, you kind of almost enter into this place where you just are willing to accept roles you never have before, and, sometimes we joke, it's like, it's the power of Asia. You know what I mean? But it is pretty remarkable that a player that for most of her WNBA career has really tried to position herself as a bigger caliber of star and player than her numbers and production showed. And after a while, it seemed like it was starting to grate on people in the locker rooms or within the organizations. You know, when Aaliyah was in her rookie season in Indiana, there was this whole dust up on social media where NaLyssa Smith's family were talking about Aaliyah and being like, she can be the number 2. I mean, there was this whole weird energy around being a star for the next player. And honestly, I didn't know if she was going to be all that willing to accept that role with the Aces and in Vegas. I wasn't really sure. And she went in with that team and immediately was like, I know who the number 1 is on this team, and I'm going to be an effective number 2 for you. And that is exactly what she's been this series. I mean, 2 games out of 3, she's been the X factor player for them. She's hit the shots that she's needed to at a pretty high clip. These are 2 playoff career highs for her back to back. She had 18 and 7 in game 2. Tonight, she has 16 and 4 and 4 blocks on 8 of 13 shooting. I mean, she's outclassing an all-star WNBA champion on the other side in Natasha Howard. And that was the matchup that I did not expect to go Vegas's way when we first charted out what this series was going to look like. And, you know, I think Asia and Aaliyah, for the most part, have kind of canceled each other out in certain respects. Like, I think they both frustrated each other on either side of the ball. Mm-hmm. But the real difference here has been at that 4 spot. And the fact that Vegas managed to find literally the exact thing that all the fans were asking for as a replacement to Kia Stokes. You got all of that in NaLyssa Smith. Like, it's crazy to me how much that trade has paid dividends deep in the playoffs. That is remarkable to me.
We need to go back for a second. I don't know if this one was shared. AT bowling ball, basketball art.
We did. It was great.
I will say, if you were to give me a montage of her on the fast break, boing, 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 I'd be mad, but I'd be entertained. But we also have, thank you, My League Mixtapes. We appreciate that. Appreciate your comment. Going back for a second, we've got full Cheryl. I'm sorry, family.
No, pop it on. I want to watch. We have full Cheryl. Sounds like DEF CON. The nuclear threat is Cheryl Reeve 1.
Sir, another Cheryl. That's hit the net.
A second Reeve has hit the 10 line.
How dangerous it can be. You're hearing it from the other series. You're hearing other coaches.
Shawnee, mute your mic if you could.
You let the physicality happen. People get hurt. There's fights. And this is the look that our league wants for some reason. We were trying to play through it. We were trying to make excuses. One of the best players in the league shot 0 free throws. 0. And she had 5 points. 0 free throws. Got her shoulder pulled out and finished the game with her leg being taken out. And probably has a fracture. And so this is what our league wants. Okay. But I want to call for a change of leadership at the league level when it comes to officiating. It's bad for the game. The officiating crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem those 3 people semifinals playoff worthy is fucking malpractice. I can take it now with the best of them. I don't think we should have to play through more than what they did. They got players. Masha's on the glass and it's fucking cracked. And there's no call. And all of them said it wasn't my fault. I didn't see it that way. They're fucking awful.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit.
First off, shout out to whoever recorded that and got her all the way to the door. Like the dramatic exit, you got to get that all the way till she hits to make sure she doesn't trip. Because if she had fell down them stairs, bro, it'd been a different conversation. Sorry, Aces Fever. We gotta. Oh my gosh. A call for a change of leadership?
Wow.
Because like this goes beyond anything that has ever been said, in history. You know, Becky Hammond last game was petitioning before the before game 3 because she already knew going back to Gamebridge, like, you know, home team are gonna get home calls. So she started her politicking. Stephanie White started her, you know, counter politicking. So you see, like, you know, everybody trying to set the tone and set the narrative when they go on the road. This is something. She said our league wants to be this. Shout out to Clutch Hoopers. If you meant to attach the comment, go ahead and just put it in the chat. And I'll bring it up when I see it. Yo,
that's remarkable. I genuinely wonder how much the fine is going to be, because that isn't all right. So I want to lay this out for everybody how this works, because it's very fucking confusing. The WNBA referees exist within the NBA's union.
Oh no.
Yes. So this becomes an NBA thing if I remember this correctly. Like they are attached to the NBRA. Yes, I did have this right. Okay. So the National Basketball Referees Association represents NBA, G League, and WNBA referees. So the issue here is that when you are trying to negotiate, I'd imagine it's the WNBA that is negotiating with the referees union, but it's the representatives of the WNBA. The problem is the specter of the NBA still exists here. And when you put all of these things together, you end up with a situation in which you're not sure whether or not you are negotiating with the right people. And that, I think, is probably something that, Jonathan, to your point, and thanks for the super chat, it feels like something in which they're going to have to figure this out. You know, I don't know if you can do it within the players' CBA. I think you would need to, and I guess we would need to find the date of when the actual CBA between the refereeing union and the leagues happen. I don't know if you can actually influence what is codified with the refs if you are the players. That to me is interesting.
Clutch Hoopers. Oh, just real quick. Clutch Hoopers. She's our kindred spirit too. We are all Cheryl. Like, how many of us, who among us can relate to wanting to crash out and absolutely go scorch earth? So the more politically correct term would be kindred spirit, but I feel you. Let's do this.
I will say, let me put Clutch's question up here. Has this ever happened before? We've seen some serious ones. I've not heard of an outright call. The last time I heard of an outright call for leadership of anybody in the WNBA, it was the Atlanta Dream getting Kelly Loeffler out the paint. Like, that's the last time I can recall a player or coach has explicitly called for the removal of an individual at the ownership or leadership level within the league. Is there a more recent one that you can think of, Shawnee? Because Angel didn't really do that, and we haven't really had anybody in a post-game presser like that go out of their way to do it. But
I mean, Satu says Kathy's name a lot and don't seem to really bang with her, but she's never outright been like she needs to go. Yeah.
This also, I agree with this.
And officiating, that made you think she meant Kathy.
I agree.
Yeah, she just didn't want to get sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Straight up. Like, you know, like there was in the New York City mayoral debate, like Mamdani had that whole thing against Cuomo where he's like, and my name is actually pronounced Mamdani. And he goes, and it's because, and like he takes this brief pause because you think he's going to say, because I'm about to be your next mayor. And he like stops for a second. He goes, because we have to get it right. And that was what that Cheryl pause was. That Cheryl pause was like, we need to change in leadership in officiating. It's just like saving her ass at that job, dude.
We've got another update.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this happened. Take out one of the best players in the league because you have no control of the game. This is Rebecca Brunson, who is not only a Minnesota legend, but on the coaching staff for the Lynx. She last game had a meme where she's just like looking confused at the camera because she cannot believe some of the calls.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like she is getting held back. Like this is insane. I don't think we've seen a crash out on a ref like this. So that's
you gotta feel for her though, bro. I mean, like, dude, you lost a championship last year on shit like this.
Yeah.
And like this is your window. Like if you truly believe Fee is your championship piece and contender, the window is now before Caitlyn gets healthy again and is 25 or older, and Juju gets into the league, and Betts and AZ and Hannah, and whatever happens in Dallas with Paige, and whatever happens in Chicago with Angel, and you know whoever goes anywhere during free agency. I mean, this is the time with this team, man. I mean, think about all of the players that are going to be free agents next year. Like, you're turning over this team. This is the window. This is it. If you're Minnesota with this iteration with Stud Buds and Fee and everybody. Yeah, jump in.
Updated status alert from Underdog WNBA. Napheesa Collier seen using a wheeled scooter post game.
Oof.
Yeah. And I hate to bring it to this point, but it's like last season when we're seeing how Caitlyn's being guarded and, you know, what's being allowed against the Indiana Fever. We get told, suck it up. It's a big girl league. It's a physical league. That's the physicality is something you got to get used to. Everybody starts telling war stories about how they got laid out, how they got their welcome to the league moment, and how the physicality is something that they had to adjust to. And it's like, to an extent, yeah, like it makes sense. You're playing with grown women, so you should expect certain things. But like, we were seeing some other stuff like that just wasn't with like it should have been controlled. And then we get told like it's a physical league, stop crying when you say something or you bring it up. And then you see Aaliyah Boston respond getting more physical, and now everybody's like up in arms and pissy about it. And then you see this, like everybody has been complaining about the officiating all season. Every single coach on every single team has some quote saying this sucks. They hate it. They're not a fan of it. And it's like, if everybody would be unified now going into the CBA, I don't know how that gets fixed. I'm not a league representative. I'm not the secretary or the treasurer or anybody. But like, that is absolutely something like y'all need to now swallow this pettiness and now go in saying like, all right, we're getting our asses beat. We're tired of it. We made our point, you know, we won that one, but like at what cost now? Because you do have to get things like this because there were a record number of injuries this season. And you do not want to see that carry over into the playoffs to where we're missing out on certain storylines or certain opportunities for storylines or legend in the making because officiating is allowing them to just like beat the crap out of each other. Like I was kind of okay with you know, like how they were letting it go kind of back and forth, but like when it gets to this level, it's a bit much. They would call for my head immediately. My first order of business is giving the Liberty the death penalty. I don't even know for what yet, but I would absolutely figure it out. But thank you for your support, Chris. you would be the only one on that because they are coming for me immediately.
Our benevolent dictator, Shawnee. I mean, I agree.
Like, Blazer.
I don't even know what skyline that would be. Like, it wouldn't be New York. I know that much.
Columbia. The Columbia skyline, and nobody would have a clue what that looks like.
Just palmettos everywhere. I agree. Like, I think that the issue I have is in the consistency of officiating. Like, if it's going to be physical across the board, make it just everyone has to come into it knowing what it is. And I think that's the issue
both halves. Like,
precisely, yes.
Don't switch up on me in the second.
You got tight in the third quarter because you think you're losing control. Like, no, the best officials, at least in my opinion, covering a variety of sports, is the best officials to me are the ones that know the exact right level of physicality, especially when it comes to the playoffs, right? And I think that there's been good examples of it at different points this season, but the consistency has to be more good than bad. And right now it's way more bad than good. And it's quarter to quarter, it's possession to possession. Makeup calls are really bad in this league.
Yes.
Like, we see makeup calls way too often. And
they're super blatant, and you can tell, like,
that was because you missed the one on the other end. And so it drives me crazy because I would rather you just let people know exactly what it is they're going into, And personally, I don't like the fact that the W is positioned this as like a physical league. They've done this for the last 2 years in off-season commercials, and like their spot promos are all about how much people beat the crap out of each other. And like, I don't think you need to like subscribe to some traditional norm and make it seem as though like these are dainty women playing basketball. But I also don't know if it is really all that great to almost overcorrect and lean into it the other way, where the intention that the league is putting out to its consumer is it's physical, it's rough. And like, it's weird because it feels like a focus group sanitized way of being like, well, the focus groups told us that, they think that this is an empowering thing. And I just don't think it is, because I think the product's entertainment value should be the thing that you put on display, and not the fact that like they foul each other hard, because all that does is add into the perception that ends up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy that the league is overtly physical, and it isn't, nor does it need to be that, And
it goes back to, if you're okay with your all-star game missing a number of star players, including like the host team players, like
literally,
then be okay
captain,
with that.
The team captain,
like, be okay with that, and you got to sub in players that like weren't voted in. Like, be okay with that. And I'm gonna address a comment that's not a super chat, just for clarity, because like, we're not saying Alyssa Thomas did this on purpose. No. Like, we're saying that she does get away with the level of physicality at times that some players do not. And in this case, like, if you call the game a little bit tighter, she might think about coming across the body. So then we avoid this in the first place. Because I'm not saying that like that foul, the way that foul happened, it was one part fouling and one part freak accident. So it's like that was kind of going to happen. That wasn't super, super preventable in a sense of the actual action. But if you're calling the game a little, it's a basketball play. But if you're calling it a little tighter and not letting certain things like that ride, to where she's like, all right, I know how they're calling the game. Let me like try and stay in front of her instead of trying to go across the body. Like, then we might be able to avoid it. So that's what we're saying in terms of, kind of controlling some of these injuries, where if you think about it, if you think twice, I might guard you a little differently, and we might avoid some of these things. But sorry to the Fever and Aces. We Cheryl, man, Cheryl's taking up a lot of space in this, but it's like it's such content. Sorry. But
it's honestly, it feels like, and this is the last thing I'll say before we go back over to Aces and Fever. I don't think Cheryl's anger and frustration over this is misplaced. Like I think this is 2 years now of just pent up shit and feeling like you are just getting screwed at every turn. And you know, I don't blame her, man. Like if I was like, because also too, you know, this is Cheryl Reeve we're talking about. You know, this isn't like a first year coach who's like trying to do the David Fizdale, like they're not gonna rook us speech. Like this is Cheryl fucking Reeve. Like she's literally the best active coach in the WNBA and one of the best women's basketball coaches
according
of all
to the New York
time.
Liberty also as well.
Yes. Like you would hope that there'd be that respect, but like the idea that she's the person that is, you know, bringing this all up. I mean, I think that matters. I think to have the elder statesman of the WNBA's coaching circle,
because we gotta get to Aces.
Exactly. So continue.
Sorry. No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good.
The Fever, I feel like magic is over, man. And then to just one more thing on the physicality, with the Atlanta series, you knew Atlanta got some calls at home. It was really like unevenly called for Atlanta game 1, then it was unevenly called for Indiana game 2, then it was it was kind of equally bad in game 3. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't like that choppiness where you can tell, like, all right, who's at home? All right, it's about to be this. Who's on the road? It's about to be this. Like, there shouldn't be that obvious a discrepancy. It's just, you know, you got to get a Titan on it. This one, that's why Becky was concerned and was, you know, chatting before in the press conferences. I feel like with Aaliyah, because there's been a lot of discussion about that, like she's been getting, like, I don't know, we watch, some of it is like, to me, self-defense in a way. Because like when you have Brittany Griner popping off on her, you have all these bigs kind of like snapping on her, and like I've seen it in college. Like Kiki Herbert Harrigan was like the enforcer. You know what I'm saying? So like Aaliyah was kind of like would just, what do you mean? Like, I'm a Christian, I'm just here to hoop. Like, I'm good. So now it's like she's got that toughness and she's got that edge. She is throwing elbows sometimes. I ain't gonna, you know, I can be objective and that, you know, in my favor and saying like she is. But we also saw like Asia like completely bulldozing and running over Lexi Hull. Again, another one of my faves. I can tell that my faves are out there being, you know, being big dogs. So it's like, again, stuff like that I would like to see kind of called. So I'm okay. I'm okay if the refs start tightening up and saying like, you know, keep your elbows to yourself and stop running like, and then, you know, moving screens and stuff like that. I'm okay tightening these things up. But like right now, they've allowed it in this series. So it's like we are where we are. With the Fever, I just feel like the magic is we're turning into a pumpkin.
And that's okay.
Yes.
You know, like the idea.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yep, because this is exactly where I am with it.
Hey, you know what? I'll be honest. I think Cancun is well deserved.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to be moral victory guy,
but with this season, this is dude, all. I mean,
this. You are in the WNBA semifinals. You stole a game on the road. You are basically playing journeywomen guards at the point, and Bree Turner and Shea Petty are getting like major minutes on this team. And one of the 3 best players in the WNBA is not playing. In addition to like 3 other guards that were important contributors for your team. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you're here, that's a great sign. That's a great sign. And on top of that, this is a huge message to send to free agents before free agency bonanza this coming off season. Because we talked about this with Seattle, where the idea was, what are you really showing me right now? You know, if I'm a free agent, what makes me want to come to Seattle right now? And if you're Indiana, you have a lot to point to here. You have Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston locked up on long-term contracts. Yep, Chris is on the money here, reading my mind. Like, Kelsey's going to stick around. Lexi's on a rookie. Yep. Cece's on a rookie deal that's going to be cost-controlled and under the cap. All of these cost-controlled rookie contracts are going to look insanely good over the next couple of years before they mature out and they become max players. Like, you have Caitlin Clark for a couple of years on a deal that might be, come the cap spike, if there is a cap spike we think there's going to be, dude, she's going to eat like a very small percentage of your payroll, and she's going to be the best player on your team, you know?
And it's like, you see, because there was, shout out to my dog, Carolyn Peck. I love Carolyn Peck, but, you know, there was the discussion of, you know, they play better without her. And it's like, they play harder because it's like, we have to overcome this void on our team. But it's like, it showed tonight that they need her. The guards, they have you're seeing the what is it? What am I saying? The things the guards can't do. They're limitations. You're seeing the limitations of the guards and seeing why, like, you were available at this point in the season and why we need our starting guard. Like, Aaliyah is wide open, but like Shea Petty can't make that pass over the defenders. Odyssey can't make that pass at that angle around certain defenders. She's not
can't hit the 35-foot three with 30 seconds to go, you know, like
not drawing the gravity, not drawing two defenders and having them blitz and creating an opening for Lexi or somebody in the corner, you know, and they did a really good job making up for that with the ball movement and stuff. But you can see just on different points where people are open and you see missed passes that it's like they need her. They need her back. So it's like, I think it's good for both, you know. She gets to feel needed, like, yeah, you can see, like, we need you out there, and they get to feel like, all right, but like, we can actually function in a way that is conducive when you come back, we should be clicking. Like, everybody has that confidence, everybody understands their, you know, abilities. You have Michaela Timpson.
That ceiling is high, Shawnee. That ceiling is high. I think she can touch it
because that girl got a bounce.
Ooh, boy, man. Couple of just unbelievable performances, like just a couple of possessions that were just excellent from her. The one thing that I think is fascinating to think about, right, is if you were to be the eternal optimist, you would look at the fact that Caitlin didn't play this year and take away that this was a positive for the Fever organization as a whole, because you got the ability to show the world that your team's floor is this. Like, the promise. And like, this is a legit thing you can do in free agency. If you're Amber Cox, the general manager, you can literally say to players, we made the semifinals and Caitlin didn't even step on the floor.
We have a first team all-W guard coming back.
We have an MVP candidate guard.
Like, a top 5 finalist for MVP literally coming back. And then we have another top 5 finalist here right now to be your OG. Like, she's in a position now where she can start being a vet and like being that OG type to, you know, whoever comes if they are in that position. Yeah, so it's like, even if you clear out and start building around it, that is such a good core. Like Lexi, Lexi is interesting because I've been kind of on the fence. You know,
I was always a believer.
You were.
Stanford Cardinal, baby. I was always a believer.
Rest in peace to the Pac-12. But like, you know, she gets drafted at 4, and it's like, really? Okay. And I think she's earning her keep. I'll give her that. She's earning her keep. She's becoming what they need. So I can see them keeping her. Season's not over yet. So, you know, maybe the Fever come back and stun the world and win another game and we take it back to Vegas. I don't think so. Just saying, and it's no disrespect. I just think, they've gone as far as their legs can take them. And, it's a great ride, but let's start playing Into the Road by Boyz II Men and move on. Mercury versus Aces, man. That's going to be...
That is in the realm of possibility. That is in the realm of probability now, which is crazy.
And the last time we played Phoenix in the playoffs, 2021, Bill Laimbeer draws up the worst play imaginable that has A'ja going one-on-one with Brittany Griner. Of course, she gets her shot blocked. Jackie Young was the worst decoy imaginable because everybody was just like, okay. So she's just like running around by herself.
Mm-hmm.
We get this play. A'ja gets stuffed at the rim. It's tears. And, Phoenix goes on to play Chicago. Chicago wins the championship that year. DT punches a door.
Yep.
Yeah, and it just, so we haven't really seen Phoenix like that in a good little minute. So this will be, granted, like, it would be nice if Dinosaur Taurasi was there to get the lick back, but, we'll have to just try and get it against the door, I guess. I don't know. Lexi, the plus minus merchant complimentary.
I will say that, like, you do need a player like her, like she is, there is always one player on every championship team that is Alexi Hull, like what Leonie Fibich or even Kayla Thornton was able to give New York last year is like Alexi Hull. Or Tweety Nolan is a much better player, but like I'm trying to think of like some of like those older, earlier era teams.
Rebecca Brunson-ish,
like Tamika Dixon. Like there's always a player that is just like your microwave energy player that can do that kind of thing. But no, I honestly. It's interesting when we think about it. And like, this is my one aside here when it comes to the Phoenix and Vegas, not rivalry, but just kind of dynamic. We really under discuss like A'ja in respect to like the kind of classic hero's journey of a superstar player. Because I think a lot of people like to memory hold this as though, A'ja's road to being a GOAT was preordained. And I think sometimes there is an understandable desire to always speak highly of her and insulate her from any critique or criticism. But I think that one of the things that we miss with A'ja is the honesty to talk about how we got here, because the story is actually a lot better when you think about it. Like that 2021 series, right? So 2020, she wins her first MVP. They get bounced out of the playoffs. I believe it was by the Storm. 2021, she goes to a different level. And this play happens at the end of that game with Phoenix where BG meets her at the rim. And I think that might have been like the OG clubhouse days, like when I think about it, because I remember being in conversation with some folks being like, this feels like one of those games in which you wonder, is A'ja ever going to get over the hump, And come 2022, 2023, when Becky takes over from Bill Laimbeer, Cam Baja's gone, K-Mac's gone, Hamby's in her last season, they win the first title. Then she wins an MVP, gets the next title. Then she, I think I might have gotten that wrong. 2022, she was an MVP. 2023 was the fourth place vote. 2024, she wins the MVP. 2025, we're here, right? Where you are one game away from making the WNBA finals again. And I think that is something to me that
keep it cute in the chat. Keep it cute in the chat.
What's going on? Are we seeing some?
No, they're just arguing. No, it's not getting out of hand, but just.
I don't want to moderate.
Yeah, I'll pull this car over.
I will take us into the McDonald's line and I will make sure I order a black coffee for myself and none of you get fries. I swear to God, I will get coffee and you get nothing.
Shout out to Kappa Friends, the officiating has been bad. Dream lost, cool. Bree Jones was calling for fouls on AB. Tonight she was hooking Asia. I love AB. I'm a South Carolina fan, but come on. Yeah, but like Bree Jones, you know that flop was kind of egregious. So like, yeah, I've admitted that like Aaliyah is she's using what God gave her, elbows.
Mm-hmm.
But like for Asia, I was there when they were questioning like, can she be great in this league because she's silly and goofy and has, is in always a silly, goofy mood. And those were the questions like at the start of her career, like because she's so fun loving, like can she really like lock in and be goated? And I'm like, I ain't never heard nobody like laugh. Okay, like sure. I guess everybody has to have a knock on her. But like that was kind of the narrative at the beginning of her career, and then she locks in. That rookie season, she's contending with the Dallas Wings for the last playoff spot. The Wings, of course, were severely underachieving. Stop me if you've heard that before. But like, she comes close that first year. Second year is when she faces EDD in the semifinals. So she not only makes it, but makes it to the semifinals, gets baptized by the eventual champion EDD. And, we're like, all right, she's going to come back and she's going to be better for that. Next year, she's absolutely that, better for that. Year after that, she's getting better and we're like right there. But I again, as an Aces fan, an Asia stan, I was always fire Bill Lambier. And so then 2021,
I can attest to this. You were
like, I was actually, it hurt, but I was actually really glad for that play because I think that was what did it. That was what we could point to and say, like, please get him out of here. Becky comes in, the clipboard gets clipping. We have an all-time series with Seattle. If you have not watched the 2022 semifinals, Vegas versus Seattle, go back and watch that. It's
all-time great series. All-time great
Bro.
Chelsea Gray series, too. That's where the point guard name came in.
Exactly.
Also, shouts to Joe.
That's what we're here for, Joe. We're here to, this is what, stay subscribed, sister.
People of the people.
We love it. Yeah. And so then 2023, we get the Liberty win. We get the win on the Liberty's home court. The most improbable win possibly in finals history. We was beating them so bad they was thinking about Lynx versus Sparks. Like, oh man, I wish when games were competitive. That's how bad we were beating them. And then the deck gets stacked against us where we lose 2 starters. We're playing Kayla George significant minutes, and Asia has, the
Kayla George in Game 5, bro. Oh my God.
Game 4, we didn't even let it.
That's right.
5. Remember, because we was talking about what should we do in Game 5 if we got to go back to Vegas. It didn't matter. We stayed in New York and we celebrated. We popped bottles in that visitors' locker room. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
There was only one way for this to end on the ethical hate of the New York Liberty. There was only one way for this to end. I love it.
But in all seriousness, we thank you for joining us on the Playoff-a-thon. We're going to be here, folks. We're
Sunday.
Going to be here. Yep.
We'll be back.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's as exciting, but not as like traumatic. So yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. Go get your home field merch. 15% off your first purchase if you use promo code NOCAP15. They've got new stuff, folks. Y'all got to go see it. It's beautiful. I love it. But thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you later.